Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. I'm Lorena Creole, and this is the Theme Park Geeks and Divas podcast where I get together, I have myself, have a couple of friends, and we just kind of chat about what's going on in the in the world of theme parks, whether it's Walt Disney World, whether it's Disneyland, whether it's Knott's Berry Farm, whether it's Six Flags, whether it's Dorney Park, whether it's Cedar Fair, Knowballs, whatever, all of that is fair game. We just like to get on a show and just geek out about theme parks. And I actually forgot to put this on. I forgot to put this on. I guess I will just to kind of be funny. I like blingy ears, so I'm gonna put this on, and friends are gonna be slowly filtering in to the show. You got things that happen in conflicts and things happen. So, but friends show up at the party when they show up at the party. So, I'd like to introduce you to a new friend to the party. If you guys caught the video premiere a little bit earlier on today, I got to interview Alan Ng of Film Threat. So, I am so glad he is here because he is also a theme park connoisseur. So, hello,
Hey,
Alan. Good seeing ya.
it's you too. It's like we talked just hours ago.
I know, not that long ago. It's like we got to stop meeting like this. Oh my gosh, what do you have playing in the background?
Oh, that's the Marvel's Avengers game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I kind of cut. No one's played it. They're shutting it down, but I enjoyed the hell out of that game. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm literally just getting back into gaming after a
yeah,
long absence, and just spent, I want to say, the past hour and a half between a little bit of Hogwarts Legacy and Disney Dreamlight Valley, the latter being extremely freaking addictive.
I haven't gotten into that one yet. But I did. We did. My daughter and I started playing Hogwarts Legacy yesterday. So we'll probably play a little bit more tonight.
I played the intro.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna put that out actually as a video because I was geeking out so much on so many levels. So I cannot wait to put that out to tell you guys. And I can't wait to play that game some more. I am truly flipping enjoying it. Speaking of enjoying things, I see you guys starting to filter in. So let me welcome you all. Kind of like our East Coast crew is kind of here to start. Then we have our West Coasters coming. Of course, Alan's on the West Coast, but Alan's our guest, so he's here kind of early. Let's see. We have Lonnie Holcomb in the chat. Says howdy, folks. Well, hi, Lonnie. How are you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you, as always. And Bonzo Kilborn, hello, says Lorena Creole. Did you still have your job? You're streaming it up these days. Yes. When I do video premieres, I'm there, but I'm not there. you know, so it's kind of like
You're working and you're watching.
yes. I'm kind of like Hermione with the time turner. I figured out how to be in two places. Be in two places at once. So I predominantly, if I live stream in the evenings. But if you guys see a video premiere from me, that's something that I already recorded and put in the can to show you guys. So let's see. We got Zachrat 315 in the house. Says howdy, folks. Well, howdy to you too. Good to see you. Good to see you. God, my girl Chef Nation in the chat says, good evening, beautiful people. Well, good evening to you. I always think of Chef Nation every time I cook something in Disney Dreamlight Valley. She's another addict. All I know is when they open that game up to multiplayer, party at my house. Y'all know that, right? Hey, Hey, TD says Lorena. Hello, my friend. Well, hello to you. Hey, Chad. Thank you so much for being a wrench along with Zachariah 315. I so need you guys. And CJ, there's my thumbnail guy who says Hooters World. He's too funny. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you, CJ. Appreciate that. And let's see. Oh, you're not? Why are you not a mod, dude? Is it because the fat finger error that I made? You know what? I am going to fix that actually. I'm gonna fix that right now.
Well, you hit the
Fix that
right
right
slash
now.
wrong button.
What happened was, and is such a it was such a bonehead move. When I'm out streaming live at the parks, I have two phones. So I have my streaming phone that I have, and then I have my
The chat phone.
yeah, the chat phone. Well, I forgot to turn the screen off before I put it in my side pocket, and it accidentally timed out TD, one of my mods,
Oh,
and I was horrified to find that out when I came back. But you should be a mod again, TD. It should be back. So yeah, yeah. No matter how long you've been in that live streaming game, you will do stuff like that. Let's see. We have Christian Delorme in the chat who says bonsoir, ma belle reine Creole. Well, bonsoir to you as well. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. And yes, unequivocally, yes. I'm playing it on a PC on Windows 11, and I'm just like floored by what I'm looking at. I
I
mean,
mean, did you just do the intro part? Have you gotten into a school yet, or a house, whatever?
I did well with me. I had already set up my house on
Oh,
Wizarding,
okay.
so I had all of that linked. So as soon as I got to the sorting part, they had already picked it, and I kind of
Oh,
like
okay.
stopped recording there. But yes, I did
Yeah,
the
that's where I am
intro.
basically.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
I just I loved it. I'm so glad I got this early. It is, how can I put it? If you have been to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and you have had a chance to ride Escape from Gringotts, that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, dead to rights. Felt like I was riding a ride all over again. Hey, theme park casual. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. Says, hey, kids listening on the road. Wish you could be here, my dear. Hopefully, you can make the show the end of the month. And yes, please do smash that like button. All right, cool. Yes, all right, we got that fixed. We got that fixed. John Self says, saying hi while recording podcast about Mardi Gras food right now. Okay.
Mm.
Glad you're doing that. We're going to hit a little bit about Mardi Gras at Universal here on the stream. So John is actually right there. Ran into him when I was streaming there on Saturday. The part is really cool. He's telling me some stuff that was good. This is stuff that he was reviewing, and I should read the food review. For folks who don't know, John Self also writes stuff for the Pirates and Princesses website that's run by Clownfish TV. So you definitely want to check that out. Gary from all the way over in the UK says Hogwarts will not be played in my house. Not a gamer, but it looks great. Well, you can experience it vicariously through me. Yeah, it is. It is such a fun. It's such a great game. From the little bit that I've played so far, yeah, the way you can customize your face and everything. I could have spent I don't know how long on that. I'd have forced myself to keep moving. Hey,
Well,
Keely
then the
Chance, what's up,
environments.
everybody?
Oh yeah,
Is it what? Oh,
then the environments. You know, I mean, there's a part looking at you're trying to get that castle in the middle of the island, and it's gorgeous. And then when you're on the I have no idea what these terms are, but when you're in the vault and you're on that roller
Mhm.
coaster ride. I mean, it's
Yes.
gorgeous.
That's the one literally like the Escape from Gringotts attraction at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And wow. It just the Yeah, I'm saying a little early. Let's put it this way. Just the option that you have to be able to look around
Mhm.
while you're on that in the game. Love it. Love it. Wish we could have did that. Wish we could do that in the ride. The night parade crash day one, Mardi Gras. Really?
Is that Universal
Trying
or
to
is
figure
that
out what it was from. That must be New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, was that Endymion? That's the one that's at night. Well, the one that I like that was at night because I like that one because I got to be in New Orleans, crashed in a friend's couch when I was in college, and we went to the Endymion parade. And Lawrence Fishburne was the grand marshal, and we actually got to like see him and wave to him. So that was really cool. So 13 of you folks in here so far. I see you, Teresa. I see you. I see you. Good seeing you. Rogue Attraction Live filmed it. Oh, at Universal. Oh, okay. Okay. Really? Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. Oh well, hopefully they will fix that. So folks, speaking of Mardi Gras, I'm trying to get myself together here. Speaking of Mardi Gras, of course, wanted to talk about Mardi Gras at Universal Orlando. So just to ask Alan, have you ever been to Universal Orlando?
Yes, I have. I believe I've been there twice. That and Islands of Adventure. But that would have been, gosh, 18 years ago.
Oh,
So
okay.
very long time.
Uh-huh. Have you ever been to Mardi Gras, New Orleans?
I have not. New Orleans. There are a small number of places that I want to visit one day here in the States, and New Orleans is definitely top of that list.
It's great. It's like a whole city where pretty much all you do is walk and eat, and listen to music. And the best food is in some of the most hole in the wall hole in the wall places.
Yeah.
And even more interesting is Mardi Gras in New Orleans because that's the only time where I see people out barbecuing at 10 o'clock in the morning, drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning. There are no public bathrooms along the parade route. So people will actually open their houses and they charge you like $5. And at least from what I can remember, they would actually do that
Yeah.
because there's no bathrooms and no porta potties on the parade route. Things can
That's
get
great trust in the community right there.
Yeah, see, that was back when I went longer than I care to mention. So I don't know if things have necessarily changed now, but what hasn't changed is that Mardi Gras is insane and Universal Orlando does a very sanitized version. Emphasize sanitized version of Mardi Gras, but it's still a lot of fun. People who would never or hardly ever get a chance to go to Mardi Gras, you can go. There's music, there's performers. They have the parade. At least the parade when I went last year, the float did not crash, and I actually got to ride one of the floats. There's like New Orleans, I say New Orleans inspired food
Mhm.
because, and John Self may agree or disagree with me. It's like the spirit is there, but the flavor, not so much. Not so
I think
much.
I think you said on your live stream, it's not as spicy. It's kind of Orlando spicy.
Yeah, it's very tourist. It's tourist spicy. It's
Yeah. See, that's my That's my wheelhouse right there. Tourist spicy.
Tourist spicy.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that I can't handle spice, but I sweat when I have something when there's a certain Scoville level.
Schofield
Uh,
chart. Yeah.
yeah, I just start sweating profusely, and everyone thinks I'm having a heart attack at that moment.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's just no, I'm just sweating.
It's interesting because some of the foods that they have, it's just like I can understand not amping up the heat, but it's kind of like that baseline flavor, you kind of need to have that,
Hmm.
and it's like it wasn't exactly going on. I mean, for people who've never been, it's okay. I'm kind of judgmental because I make this type of cuisine at home
Hmm.
and I'm used to having the real thing, but you get a good E for effort. Some of the stands are better than others, and this year they seem to be bringing out, I guess, kind of trying to make it a mini Epcot,
Hmm.
so to speak. Because I mean, the year before they had what you would expect. You'd have New Orleans, you'd have Brazilian stand, you'd have some to Trinidad and Tobago. So it was kind of like that. And this year it just seems like they just brought a whole bunch of other countries out, which is still fun. People
Hmm.
got to like walk, eat, try cuisine, and the portion sizes are bigger than they give you at Disney. So I can definitely
There you go.
definitely vouch for that. Not only that, but I think it's if you buy a dining card, I think you can get like I think it's worth 160, but you pay I think like 130 or something for it. So they
Hmm.
give you some kind of price break on that. Heat
Yeah.
is part of the flavor. Yeah, it's like it is, and you can kind of put it in there, but you can also have heat and no flavor, which is kind of like that Cajun boil they had last year.
Hmm.
I was so disappointed with that.
Just the sound of that doesn't sound appetizing.
No, I mean, the smell was there, so it's like,
Mm.
okay, kinda the smell seems like it's there, and it looked like it was boiled great. It had, your corn, your potatoes, andouille sausage, all of that, and it smelled good, and I'm like, "Okay, this is great," and I take one bite, and it's like they forgot to put the salt in it. They forgot to put more Haitian spice in it. It was just so disappointing, but
Yeah.
beignets were good.
Yeah. No, I get it. Disney has never gotten Chinese food right, and it's just yeah, the ingredients are there, but um, I don't know. It's a little too sanitized, maybe.
That's probably it. Because one of the things that I tell people, and a lot of other people have done this too, like they'll say, "Oh, do you dine at the China Pavilion at Epcot?" I'm like, "No, I get better
Yeah.
Chinese food at home." Why? Why? I made the mistake of dining at the restaurant in the China
Oh
Pavilion
yeah,
and was so pissed off.
yeah. I
I was
I I knew ahead of time never to do that. Like California Adventure used to have the Golden Dragon kind of counter service, and it
Mhm.
was okay. Um, but I've always, whenever I talk about it, I always describe like Chinese food. There's something about if there's not a C in the window, if it's an A or a B, it's not authentic. Um, or and then if you're not getting remnants of the meal cooked before it, it's not authentic at all.
Yeah, I know for me, it's like I'm used to either like the hole in the wall Chinese
Hmm.
places like in Philly, or I'm used to the family restaurant that's been there for years. Like true story. There was this Chinese family restaurant that literally for like 30 years. I went there when I was a kid in elementary school, went there when I was in high school,
Hmm.
um, would drop by there all the time. apparently the lead chef retired, and it hasn't been
Oh
hasn't been
yeah.
the same, hasn't been the same, the same since. They're like, yeah, the son doesn't really cook as well. It's got, I'm okay, but yeah, it's like the food at Epcot. I'm just like, no, it's
Hmm.
just it's not. It's like
Yeah.
trying to get pizza at Disney. That is, how would I put this? Pizza at least I'll say this for Disney World. I don't know how it is at Disneyland. Pizza at Disney World, only get it at, I would say, 3 places. One would be at the Grand Floridian at the quick service. 2 would be the Contemporary, because I think they have wood-fired ovens there. The
Hmm.
3 would be Via Veneto in the Italy Pavilion at Epcot. Why? Because they all import their water.
Hmm.
You can't use Florida water to make pizza. It just, no. No, nobody likes Disney pizza except in those locations.
Oh my gosh.
Have you had Disney pizza,
I
Alan?
have not. I've not. I mean, the idea of theme park pizza doesn't sound appetizing to me.
You know what?
Mhm.
There's somebody backstage who I'm going to ask about this too. So, folks, first of all, thank you guys so much. Over 21 of you in here watching. I am going to bring in someone who I haven't had on the panel, but dang it, he's a friend and a contributor over at Orange Grove 55. So, dang it, he's good with me. Welcome, Disney George. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Great to be on here. First time I follow you all the time on Twitter, and I watch your videos, but I'm so glad to actually be a part of the conversation. I finally had time to come on. It's great to be here.
Oh, well, it is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful having you, George. Are you on the East Coast or are you on the West Coast?
I'm on the East Coast. Yes.
Ah, okay, okay, all
Yes.
right. All right, we're gonna have a lot to talk about. But before we get to that, let's see. I'm gonna catch up with the chat here because we are talking. It's funny, we have Universal up here, but we're actually talking a little bit of Disney pizza. Hey, Tom, Rogue Attraction says Pizza Point. Where is Pizza Point? Where's Pizza
Pizza Point.
Point?
I don't. That doesn't sound familiar to me either.
It doesn't. Let me know. But yes, via Napoli. Did I say via Veneto? Let's see via
I
Veneto.
think I think you
Yeah,
did,
you
but
might have done
but
it.
I knew what you. I think any Disney fan would know what you were talking about.
I got the via part right, and I
Yes.
got Italy Pavilion. That was that pizza that I had there. I was like, oh my God. I said, I think I'm back in Philly. Whoo!
Well, and it's actually funny because I actually live in Pittsburgh, um, Pennsylvania. So I mean, like we know like certain hot spots of good pizza and areas that do not have what you call the best tasting pizza. And Walt Disney World is how you doing, casual? But Walt Disney World, yeah, it's you could say it's a hit or miss, but it's mainly a miss when it comes to pizza, except for the locations that you had mentioned, Lorena, especially Via Napoli, because being a true Italian, it all goes by the ratio of good cheese, good sauce, excellent dough, especially on a wood fire oven.
Mhm.
Like that's the best way. And I had a couple ask me, they were from Ireland, and it was their first time visiting Walt Disney World. And they asked me, and I bumped into them at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and they said, "How's Pizza Rizzo?" And I said, "Do you really want my honest opinion?" I was like, I, there's so many places you can go. Pizza Rizzo is not the
Not
place.
one of them. Mm-mm.
No.
No.
I hate to say it, but it's like I'm from California, born and raised in California. I have no idea what good pizza is. If you ask me what are the qualities of a good pizza, I couldn't tell you. I just know what kind of crust I like, and I like pepperoni. and mushrooms. That's about it. So because all we have is the chain stuff. And
California Pizza
Yeah.
Kitchen.
yeah,
Yeah.
And that's what I was just
barely
gonna say.
that, but I mean, I'm at Little Caesars and Domino's a lot.
Mhm.
We've been trying to find like kind of hole in the wall pizza places, family owned places to get our pizzas. And so it's kind of a more I think we focus a lot on the crust we like versus anything else.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, a lot of chain restaurants are starting to be overshadowed by these
Mhm.
kind of independent,
Mhm.
family-owned pizza
Absolutely.
places. Because I mean, even out here in Pennsylvania, like Pizza Hut, a lot of the bigger chain ones, you don't really see too many of them anymore. They're very sporadic, and you
Mhm.
just kind of see these unknown little side pizza joints that you go in. It's like, wow, this is really good pizza, and you kind of give or take, weighing that in with the chain restaurants.
Yeah, I mean, we finally decided to say, okay, we're just going to spend the $25 for a large pizza and forego the savings you'll get at Domino's or Pizza Hut, because the differences are vast.
They really are, because I know even like in Philly, it's like going to the mom and pop pizza shop or
Mhm.
like this regional chain pizza shop, way better than like Pizza Hut or Domino's or like anything like that. And the joke, I won't say the joke, but say the warning, when I would be on Disney forums, like if you're from Philly, they're like, do not eat Disney pizza. Just don't. Just don't. You're setting yourself up for failure.
No.
And just to get on to what Rogue Attraction was saying, Pizza Point is in Disney Springs near Maria and Enzo's. Okay. I haven't been there, so that's
Yeah.
I haven't, like, I guess maybe it's something that I've never really like paid attention to, but I guess I never really noticed it.
Yeah, I think the only pizza at Disney is Pizza Port over by Tomorrowland or by Space Mountain, and that one is just a giant slice of pizza. And
Hey,
and it's
OG.
just like it's fast. We eat it fast and we're out of there.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. OG's like, I'm going to sound very California right now, but Blaze Pizza, I remember Blaze Pizza, has a great cauliflower crust pizza. Didn't think I'd like it, but I did.
Oh, I gotta try that.
I don't do cauliflower.
Oh, gee, that's like screaming California
It
right
sure
there.
the heck is.
Look, it's keto. That's the point. It's keto, and Blaze Pizza is growing like crazy out in Southern California.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
Part of mine is I'm part of the seafood diet. I see it, I eat it.
Yeah. Yeah, as you all know, with me, it's the disrespectful treats that they have in all the parks. But yeah, folks, Mardi Gras is going on at Universal. Definitely check out the Tribute Store if you go. They've changed the location, so now it's where the pass holder lounge used to be. So it takes up where the pass holder lounge used to be, plus the dark room, plus Williams of Hollywood. And it's got like 4 different rooms that are in there. You have like the big band. I love how they did this. It's freaking amazing. This is like the first room that you go in. It's got a big band theme going on, great props set up. Make sure to really inspect the props, because they have like little, I don't want to call them Easter eggs, but they have like matchbooks, postcards, little things that they put that just make it kind of seem like it's straight out of like the 1930s. There's like a bayou room that they have, like in the second room. The third room is like it's like a speakeasy, I want to say. Well, dang it, I didn't want to do a darn ad. And I hate that. I like it and I hate it at the
Today's
same
show
time.
brought to you by Special K.
It's like,
Yes.
give me some I like having that. But yeah, they have 4 different rooms that are in there. One's themed like a speakeasy. It's even set up like a speakeasy. It looks like something out of an Al Capone movie. That's like near the front. But yeah, they have like the spirit bottles, which you can get your picture taken and put on there. I think it's like $85 or something like that. You can get that done. I mean, even down to the old school phone that they have. I mean, it's the tribute store is just themed so well. It's something they do every year. Um, that's just amazing. Disney George, have you ever had a chance to make it to the tribute store at Universal?
I have not. No, but I mean, I do appreciate, like, I'm a attention to details type of person. So sometimes like the smallest detail, a lot of people think it doesn't matter, but sometimes that's all it takes. Just like small little touch ups. And as you had mentioned, like with the old fashioned telephone there, it just like it takes you back to a certain era. And that's what I love about just theme parks in general. It doesn't have to necessarily come from Disney and or Universal, but like if a good themed area is represented well, I'm all for it.
I absolutely love this. Like the empty bottle, the rings from the rings from the bottle. I mean, it's just so much fun. I love these. So let's see. We got someone else in the back. We've got OG55. How you doing, my dear?
I am doing fantastic. Lorena, thank you so much for having me on. Great to see you, George. And
As
Alan,
always.
Hey,
great to meet you, buddy.
hi, Orange Grove. I never met you, so good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So we're talking some tribute store right now?
Yeah. We're talking about the tribute store, kind of talking about all the different rooms in the tribute store, just how great everything is. Everything is themed, merchandise that's in it. I mean, everything from like these jazz posters, they're not flat. It looks like there's texture and stuff to it, like something you'd actually see. It's just,
That's awesome.
the details on them are just absolutely incredible. So I tell people, do not overlook the tribute store. The one from Mardi Gras this year, it's a little different. Last year it was like a float factory, which was kind of fun. I like that one. This one's a little bit different. Still good. Definitely worth checking out.
Cool. Is that like an alligator hat to the left?
Yes, it is. We got alligator hats. We got king hats. A
Nice.
crazy amount of masks that they have this year. One that's like a steampunk mask. I'm trying to see if I can get to it. That's the Bayou room. I love it. It's got like the Southern Gothic.
Nice. With a little black light going on. That's
Mhm.
great.
It's so cool. They have even the music in the back. This is like the big band room. This is the one where you first come in
Wow.
to the tribute store. It's so cool.
I've never seen this, Lorena. This is a lot more involved than I was expecting. I mean, there's a lot going on here. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a ton. It's usually several rooms that they'll have. Everything down to Rue Lafitte. So I think I said this in the stream. Jean Lafitte is a famous pirate. I should say Jean or Juan Lafitte. Famous pirate, used to terrorize New Orleans. So he's a legend. So they actually struck that up there. It says Rue Lafitte. So very cool. All the stuff is themed. This is the speakeasy room. I want to say this is actually my favorite because, as I was saying earlier, it looks like you expect Al Capone to roll up in here.
Yeah. Totally.
It just looks, it just looks so cool. So definitely check out the tribute store if you get a chance. Hopefully one day they'll bring something like this out to Universal Hollywood. I really think it would go over well.
Nice. Yeah, it's a cool room. They have a lot of cool rooms in this. I mean, it's really well themed. I'm loving the theme in here.
Yeah, it's great. Oh yeah, this is
there's the
just
desserts.
yeah, there it goes. I had a king cake whoopie pie. It was so good. but so sugary I could only eat half of it. It was like, think of two really soft sugar cookies, and then they dip that in like purple, yellow, and green sugar, and then there's cream whoopie pie filling in the middle.
Oh my gosh, it's like sugar on sugar.
Yes,
Is that
you
fondant on
need.
there as well?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
look,
and that's
yeah,
just solid sugar as well.
yeah. That's like solid sugar. I think
Does it come with a free tooth extraction?
Yeah,
it should, right?
you know.
There's the whoopie pie. This is a s'more, so it's got a big hunk of chocolate, and then there's a brownie up here. It's got another big hunk of chocolate that looks like a mask. It's so delicious. Do they have random raids in the speakeasy?
Oh, that'd be cool.
They should.
That'd be really cool.
That'd be pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
that would take it to Disney levels there.
Oh,
You know?
God, yeah. Oh goodness, yeah. Well, another thing, going on to a little, getting to the Disney news. One of the things that I did want to bring back up is that they are actually bringing housekeeping back to the Walt
Yes.
Disney World Resort. This is something that's been sorely needed, especially with the pandemic and everything. I know people were not too, I won't say too happy, but it was very much of a challenge when you're paying the same rate for the room, but you're not getting housekeeping.
And this is, Lorena, this is at the core of what I consider the Disney difference, right? Because like when Walt created Disneyland, that was one of his main things. This place is going to be clean, right?
Mhm.
So I felt like when you chip away at that and you say, okay, housekeeping is something that's kind of optional. It's not a priority for us.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think that's a bad look for Disney. I think that housekeeping and maintaining that should be a priority. If you're going to cut, fine. All companies have to cut somewhere. I get that.
Mhm.
But if you're going to cut, it shouldn't be here. Not with Disney, at least, you know? So I'm really glad to see it come back. It should have never left.
I'm just surprised this is a story. I mean, it shows you how long it's been since I stayed on Disney property, but the idea that housekeeping went away is just astonishing to me.
It's like for it being gone and then gone this long. That's like the biggest surprise of something that would seem so simple on paper, but I guess in reality, I don't know like what all the logistics was behind it of why it took so long. But this was like of how they consider the fireworks, like was Walt's kiss goodnight to all of us as we leave the park. While the mousekeeping, if you will, is like the kiss goodnight as you go to bed at a Disney Resort hotel. You get back to your room, it's clean, it's refreshed. They do those little towel animals on your bed or something, and it makes you feel like you're doing something different and unique, and that's what Disney was all about. So it's not like just kind of going and staying at a cheap, sleazy Motel 6 off the corner of
192.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Which does housekeeping.
But you guys are absolutely right. Mousekeeping was the Disney difference. I mean, when I would go, especially the trip where I took my nieces and nephews, I must have been smoking something when I decided to take all of them to Disney World. But we did. And we stayed at the Polynesian. Number one, we made up mousekeeping envelopes. The kids love doing this, where they would put like the tip for mousekeeping in the envelope and they decorate them and all that stuff. They leave them, for mousekeeping. And we'd come back, and not only would our room be cleaned, we would have towel animals. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they'd have like extra chocolate stuff from their pillows. One night we came back from the parks. We were tired, and I'm just like, which one of you kids left the television on? and then like, no, it wasn't me, Auntie, it wasn't me. We walked in, all of their stuffed animals that they bought at Disney were like all on the bed, like they were watching TV.
Oh
and
my gosh.
And I think like Stitch had the remote control.
Oh yes.
So,
that is awesome. That's awesome, Lorena.
This is the type of thing that that was the Disney difference. And usually housekeeping, that's usually the cast member that you'll interact with the most
Right.
when you're, when you're at a resort. So for this to be gone so long, it really did feel like a part of the magic had disappeared. I would say first with mousekeeping and then entertainment. Those two at Disney World were some of the biggest parts of the magic, that when they were gone, it felt like the soul of the park was gone.
Lorraine, I'm
I'll
very
actually. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, OG.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm actually very curious, and maybe you guys know, but I'm actually very curious when this decision was greenlit to bring it back. Whether this was kind of like a residual, like Bob Chapek decision that just came to fruition now, or if this is something that Bob Iger did when he came in and sort of started to change things up. I'd be very interested in knowing that.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a very good question. It's like I don't know how the other hotels are, because ever since I moved to the area, I'm 15 minutes away from Disney. I don't stay at the resorts anymore. But it may be again, to go along with that they're bringing back parking back at the resorts, or maybe, just maybe, it reached critical mass with enough complaints of people saying that they miss housekeeping. And yeah, Rogue, some people don't, but when you have a family
Yeah.
and you're on vacation, the last thing that you really want to do, especially if you paid for it, is clean up a room.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
if you're single, yeah, it probably doesn't really matter. But when you're a family, it's different.
Yeah,
Call
I
for a
mean,
new
like
towel
even
in the bathroom.
like. Oh, I'm sorry, Alan. Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, and to call for new towels in the bathroom, to go through
Yeah.
the hassle of that, it's just, yeah. I'll just last point. It's like the thing is, you're paying a premium price. Just going to it is a premium price, and I can't believe that this is how they chintz you out of the extra money you're spending.
Yeah, and and if I was traveling by myself, I may or may not, worry about it too much. But I'm taking my brothers this coming summer to Walt Disney World for the first time. This guy down here, Mr. OG55, and
Yes.
I want them to get that full immersive experience at Walt Disney World, especially since they've never experienced it before. I don't want to be all big talk, and then when we get there, it's like, well, where's this? Where's that? Where's that big magical experience that you were talking about? And it's like, so I'm glad the little things are starting to come back, but I'm even going to take it one step further. When Lorena, when you mentioned like housekeeping and entertainment, but also to the fact of, for people traveling such as myself, the magic started once I arrived at Orlando International Airport. And I think you kind of know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I do. Where's
the
the Mickey bus,
Yes.
Auntie?
And it's like that's where the Disney picks you up and they transport you to your hotel. That was part of that magic. And to your question, OG, I think in time that if the Magical Express comes back, I feel like that would be an Iger. That would be like an Iger thing, because I think it would be enough time lapsed that by the time that the Magical Express ended, and then by the time it would come back online or in some format, it may not be exactly what it was. I think that would be more so of an Iger thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Every time I went to Walt Disney World, it was the Mears buses that I would get on.
The Mears buses, and now they have the Sunshine Express that I've seen, which is a local company. So they've picked up where Disney has kind of left off. And I see them actually running, pretty frequently. They're all individual. They look like trains or painted like trains, and it looks like the original train cars from the Walt Disney World Railroad. That's like how cool they look. We have one more person in the back, another friend dropping by, and that would be Dre. How are you doing, my dear?
Happy to be here. I am super excited. Thank you so much, Lorena, for having me on. How's the chat doing? How's everybody doing? How's the panel doing? Are we good?
We're good.
We're good.
Fantastic. That is great to see. Ooh, happy talking about housekeeping. Now that's
We're talking about housekeeping.
well, no, that's a big deal because they have been having huge problems trying to get enough cast members to actually facilitate these rooms, right? Because they have over 36,000 rooms on property, so it's been a real struggle for them to actually cast up, let's say, and recruit enough people. So this doesn't only signify the return of a service that I think we all expect, let's say, especially from some of these deluxe and moderately priced rooms, but also too, it signifies a new milestone in terms of their facilities coming back online ever since 2020.
Another thing to point out about housekeeping is that it seems that there are some levels of resorts who will get housekeeping every day,
right, and
others who will only get it every other day. I have a problem with that. Because whether you stayed, and I've stayed at every resort from the Polynesian, which is my favorite, to Pop Century, which is also my favorite. And in either one, you got mousekeeping every day. Not that towel animals were guaranteed, but we got those too. So it was nice to have that equal across the board. So I'm glad it's coming back. It's been too long, but I'm also a little disappointed that they're making that caste system, so to speak. Yeah. I don't know if it's a staffing thing. I'm not real sure about that.
It's probably a cost thing. I mean, it probably looks better on the balance sheet to reserve a couple of dollars for housekeeping when you're charging like $700, $800 a night versus at a value rate, right? I think that that part is not fantastic. I will absolutely concede that point. But I think the other big news surrounding the resorts, I know you guys were talking about Magical Express and how we very much want that back. And I think that's the kind of the last thing that would definitely get fans excited. But also too, them foregoing the parking fee. That was a big deal. And I understand. I hear people, they're just going to add that to your room rate, and it's going to be a hidden cost rather than a transparent cost. But the perception that does to value for guests actually staying on Walt Disney World property is absolutely massive. And even if you do raise the rate by $25, when you don't actually see that as an itemized list on the end of your receipt, it just changes your whole perception. It really, really does. And that was a big cost for people to incur, especially when you were staying at some of these deluxe hotels and so forth.
Well, it's like a video game, right? Like it's like, okay, you can charge these video game companies can charge you $45 for the video game, but then try to microtransaction you once you get the game, right? Or they can just charge you $65 for the game with no microtransactions along the way. And I think most people would prefer just to pay it up and not deal with the constant having to like dip into your debit card every 10 minutes,
Great analogy.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dre. It's an optics thing, and it definitely does help. Even if you're paying a little more up front, I think that most people are more okay with that than along the way having to do that. That was a big issue with the Chapek era, is that it was that microtransaction. Like you're at the parks and everything you got it every step of the way you're charged for something different, right? And it just looks bad, and people are sick of it.
Yeah, but I'll just say it's a trend in the hotel business altogether. I mean, there are times where I would go to a city, see a great price for a hotel, and then realize, they're going to charge me $40 a day for parking. And it's like I just wish you would have told me that up front. And they
Right.
priced it to get me into the door, and now I'm stuck
Mhm.
with more fees that
And-
I should have known about. And
Mhm.
it's sad to see that Disney's going that route as well.
And the thing
Yeah.
about the parking, because I also will have to say this. I remember a time when parking was free. And instinctively, I'm like, okay, so that's why the price is a little inflated, because the Universal was like, yeah, guess what? We're going to charge you $15 a day or whatever. I'm just like, I don't have to pay that, at Disney. So that was a big like cost savings to families. But then when the price hike was instituted, and unfortunately that was instituted under Iger, it didn't go over well. I remember my travel agent calling me and telling me, guess what? You got in just under the wire because now they're going to charge for parking at resorts. And I'm just like, really? Because if you're a family on a budget, especially at a value resort, now all of a sudden, like if you're staying for a week, you mean to tell me there's like an extra 100, 150 that I'm going to have to pay for parking? So I'm glad that has definitely gone away. And of course, they will make it up somewhere else.
Oh,
They
for sure.
And especially the
will.
prices for the value resorts, because in my opinion, I don't even think you could really call them value resorts anymore.
No, not anymore.
They're up there with the moderate pricing.
How much is it now?
It's close to 200.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Because when I went to a value resort, it was $90 a night.
It used to be that low
Yeah.
at one period in time, but now that's kind of like where they are.
I believe the debut price for Caribbean Beach Resort was $79.99 back in the day.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
It was pretty low. I mean, compared to now, it's just up there. And of course, it's like Disney can afford to charge that because that is what people will pay. And then when people will not pay it, guess what? It's coupon night, y'all. That's what I would get the call from my travel agent saying, guess what? They dropped the code to
Right.
give you a discount. So
Right.
you can use that on some souvenirs or something else that you want to do. Guess who else we got in the background? I'm excited he actually was able to make it. So folks, Theme Park Casual is here with us.
Yes.
Man,
Hi,
that's
kids.
fantastic.
Didn't expect to see you.
Yeah, I didn't either. But, well, let's just say there was no CHP on the road. So,
Yes.
No,
You have told me about this before.
no AAA badge. That's what they used to call them.
I actually got a little drop for Casual. Here we go, Casual.
I don't know. Fly casual.
There
That's
we go.
right.
We're flying
Yeah.
Casual.
I like that.
yeah, and you can see that I didn't even change my shirt. So you've got theme park business casual tonight.
There you go.
That's okay.
Yes.
That's okay. I'm glad you guys are
Hey,
here.
Jerry.
So we can move on to our first of all. Have you all met Alan before?
No,
I have
no,
not,
I have
sir.
not.
This is
Yeah. I mean, I think
honor
Orange
and
Grove,
privilege
we
is mine.
started following each other on Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yep.
no, I mean the rest of you for the first time. Hi.
Yeah, well, everybody meet Alan. Alan, meet everybody.
hello there.
howdy.
I'm here because I've given thousands upon thousands of dollars to Disney. So
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
It makes you
Yeah.
an expert just like every one of us.
Yeah, I figured he'd be the perfect person to bring in, especially talk about Disneyland, because as you all know, there's the 100th anniversary celebration going on, which already starting off has just blown the 50th out of the water for
Yeah.
Walt Disney World. Yes, I'm gonna
What
be-
is this 50th anniversary you speak of?
Yeah, you know the one with all the merch and stuff that they were
that one,
you
okay.
know, the special merchandise like the
Yes.
Starbucks cups that people were fighting over in the Emporium.
Uh,
Oh,
Get
I
there,
believe
get
it's
your hands
Is that the same celebration where Tron is going to be opening during it? Is that the same one, or
That was the one that it was that's what they said it was going to.
oh well,
That's what they said. Although, yeah, I know. A matter of fact, I want to bring this up. Hey, Dylan, see, yes, Light Cycle Run is doing cast previews. It's anticlimactic right now with Tron. I mean, let's just show you how far back that was. Before I even moved to Orlando, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Disney for the 50th. Tron's gonna be running. This is gonna be really cool. Well, that was 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago. And even though they say that they're going to open it, it's kind of just like a shrugging. Okay.
yeah.
I can kind of see why though they're delaying it, because it's kind of like, okay, so they just dropped Cosmic Rewind. I think that was like in August, and you don't really want to have both of these big draws too close together, because then you kind of cannibalize yourself, right? You want to have the Cosmic Rewind crowd sort of wane a little bit, give it some breathing room. So then when you need that extra boost, you can open Tron and get another, boost in guests. But I can see also how it's been. Look, I mean, that attraction was announced in 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been an awfully long time. So I can see both sides of it. I can see why Disney is pushing it back, because you don't want to kind of like blow everything at once, but at the same time, it's been like 6 years.
It's been a long time, and that's you have Tron that has so much pop culture weight behind it with the movies and and the lore and the video games and everything, as opposed to Cosmic Rewind, which is kind of like, okay, we're dropping that in with the with the MCU. So yeah, now people are just kind of like, yeah, okay, when it shows up, it shows up,
Right.
But I will say this much: when Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway opened, I was more excited about this than Galaxy's Edge,
Wow.
than Rise of the Resistance. This attraction, I'm telling you, I cannot remember the last time. I want to say probably Toy Story Mania, I would say, but this is because this is old school Disney that it's kind of based on. I had fun from entering the queue to exiting the queue. So I am so excited to find out from those of you on the West Coast who have gone to ride this at Disneyland, what were your impressions?
Lorena, I've gone on it 3 times already, and I absolutely love this attraction. I completely agree with you. It really does capture the spirit and energy of Mickey Mouse. Like you're going into a Mickey Mouse short. It really is perfect in that regard. I don't even really like the new Paul Rudish Mickey Mouse cartoons. I don't even really like the shorts, but this attraction takes all the really, really good fun parts of those shorts, the good qualities of them, and puts them into the attraction. And they leave everything that I don't like about it out of the attraction. It really is fantastic. I absolutely fell in love with this. I was thinking about you, Lorena, when I was riding this thing. I'm going, okay, I know why. Now I understand why she loves it so much. This is a fantastic, really adorable ride. Really great stuff.
And I have to say, because I rode both on the East Coast and the West Coast, because the first time I experienced it was when it opened in the Great Movie Ride. Sorry, I'm still a little bit bitter about that.
So sorry.
Yeah. But I have to say, having this attraction at Disneyland in Toontown, with El Capitan Theater, and the queue itself just blows Florida's right out of the water. Like, I mean, everything down to the nitty gritty detail of everything that encompasses what Mickey Mouse is all about. And I do apologize, fellas. That time it's
the runaway is right behind you.
Right behind you.
That's perfect.
That you could just go through the queue at Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and that alone would be enough for me. But tie it into the ride, I do have to say it is a little bit more bumpy and jerky than Florida's. This one really like whips you around, and there were some minor issues as far as the direction that Goofy was looking to the one side when he should be looking to the other side.
Correct.
Which from sources say that's an easy fix that'll be taken care of pretty soon. But overall, I do enjoy the ride, even though it took the place over at Florida of the Great Movie Ride. But I do feel that Disneyland's is more appropriate in the setting space that it is. And I was glad that I was there for opening day. I too, just like OG, I got to ride it 3 times.
Oh wow!
It's pretty rare that Disneyland opens up a brand new attraction from scratch with a brand new ride system and so forth. I mean, before Galaxy's Edge, I believe the latest one, the newest one, had been, well, if you don't include Rocket Rod's 1995's Indiana Jones Adventure, it was quite a bit. So to actually add an attraction like this to the rich tapestry that is Disneyland, in a setting that I think is perfect for it in the form of Toontown. I mean, I think it's a phenomenal attraction. It's really kind of this kid friendly attraction that the entire family can enjoy. One that is duplicated in Disney's Hollywood Studios, but I will say, George, I mean, the queue really kind of elevates that notch and really supplants it into Toontown itself in a way that even Disney's Hollywood Studios doesn't quite enjoy. The 3 eras of Mickey as you're going through the queue, this kind of the Disney Channel and modern Mickey, that kind of classic short Mickey and so forth and everything in between. It's just phenomenally executed, and just like you would see if you were looking at if you're going to a premiere at the El Capitan in Hollywood. The El Capitan has these displays that really showcases, Mickey's kind of cinematic journey, let's say, and his history on screen and so forth, and with props and everything like that. It is just so cute. It's so very, very well done. And, some people are kind of disappointed that this didn't actually go over to Disney's California Adventure because Hollywoodland does need an attraction there. And I don't disagree. Hollywoodland does need an attraction. But again, if you were to put this in Hollywoodland, it would take up an enormous amount of space, and Hollywoodland would always be locked to that one theme. Whereas this can exist at Toontown, which Toontown does need a revitalization of some kind. This provides that, but I think will provide a home for decades to come. Whereas DCA is still in a state of becoming.
And I think that's where Disney World went wrong by placing it at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and I'm glad Disneyland didn't go that route by putting it at DCA. I think it's more of a, as you had mentioned, Dre, I think it's more fitting in Toontown, but also to a lot of the props that are shown in the queue at Disneyland's version. A lot of them have a sprinkle of pixie dust, if you will, and there are certain elements to them that come alive, so to speak. So I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but if you definitely have the opportunity to check out the queue, there are some hidden surprises that go along.
And they fit right alongside Toontown for sure.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm one of those people that thought it should have gone in DCA, mainly because they could have gone with that slightly edgier feel from the shorts. But going through the queue, partial queue, I'll get to that in a second. Getting halfway through the queue, it fits perfectly with Toontown. You felt like you were going through another Mickey's house or Minnie's house kind of situation where it's like you just feel like this is really where the characters live and breathe, and this is their home, this is their town, this is where they hang out, and you really get that feeling. And so I'm coming around to say, you know what, this is the perfect spot for it. It doesn't belong in DCA. This is where it belongs.
Now, Disneyland's not known for its queues at all. Do you spend a significant time in this queue, or do you kind of rush through it quickly? Like
depending on if you have a virtual queue, like a boarding group, or if you have the
Lightning Lane.
Yeah. So I've only been able to. I've only been able to ride it once, and that was thanks to the Lightning Lane courtesy of Vash. And I'm going to have to side with El Profesoro here, saying that, yeah, they need to work out the kinks, because the next time I had the opportunity to ride it, I got the virtual queue, and it was supposed to be around 10:30 a.m. that I would be boarding. And it just kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed because the ride was broken down. And then I finally got called back, and I'm in the queue for probably half an hour when all of a sudden we're like kind of saying, we haven't moved in 5 minutes. We haven't moved in 10 minutes. People are starting to sit down. And at that point I was like, well, I've got another stream to do over at Knott's. I'm not going to sit here and wait and hope and spend hours possibly waiting in this queue. So I just basically walked out. So I didn't even get to the fun popcorn scene, the concession stand in the queue. So I got to see half of the queue at that point, but even that blew me away. So that should tell you how good this queue is, that I only got to see about half of it.
There's about an hours or hours and a half worth of queue here, and I will say, Alan, I mean, there are some good queues at Disneyland. Indiana Jones, I think, is kind of the
gold standard.
Nice. Yeah. Roger Rabbit Cartoon Spin is also seen as another great queue, and I think this does live up to those. I think in very engaging fashion. Unfortunately, Casual, I do apologize you weren't able to see it, but it's definitely worth seeing. If you have a lightning lane, you will bypass large sections of it, admittedly. But if you just wait in the traditional queue, you'll be able to see it, obviously. And it's a little bit of a wait, but it does move by, or at least it should move by pretty quickly.
And if you have a lightning lane, you are allowed to choose the virtual queue side.
Correct.
So
yes.
If you want to see it, you can. You're not forced to the lightning lane side.
And here's something that I think is kind of just something of note. Bob Chapek gets a lot of heat, and still to this day gets a lot of heat. But this attraction at Disneyland was greenlit, and I mean, this was a Chapek thing all the way through.
Yes.
It's really well done. So while Chapek had his issues, believe me, this was one of the gems, as well as the new fireworks show for the 100th Wondrous Journeys, which is another Chapek thing. I got to give him credit for both of these things. I mean, they turned out really, really well. So
both
credit where it's due.
Phenomenal.
How come we couldn't get that for Harmonious?
Lorena, you had to go there. Just don't get me started.
I had to. I had to. I'm Slytherin. I have to share my pain with all of you.
I actually have a Harmonious drop on here too. Actually, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. There we go.
Wait a minute. Hang on here. I think I got one too. There we go.
Both of them fit.
Yes.
Both of them fit. It's still just like what the heck am I looking at? It just but
So
anyway,
unfortunate.
to get back to fun stuff, just for fun and giggles, I actually recorded this last year in 4K. So I figured
Let's go.
have a little fun checking this out.
Spicy.
So those of you who haven't had a chance to go, I will say the queue, it's based on that one picture that I saw from Deadline of the queue from Disneyland. First of all, there's no comparison. Disneyland's is highly more superior. This was during, for some reason, they had a slight malfunction with this, because usually, and I think the pre-show is the same at Disneyland that it is at Disney World.
Correct.
Indeed, it does.
They do show this cartoon in the beginning. Still gives me Steamboat Billy vibes, because it's just so much fun. You're going to be singing this song forever. And then there's like an explosion, and there's smoke, and then there's this hole that you walk through, just like a tune. But I think at that point in time, they didn't have the pre-show working, so they just had us walk right on through there.
I still haven't figured out how they do that effect. It's very impressive, and it's right in front of you, and I still can't figure it out.
I don't even want to know.
I know that's true. That's true. Yeah.
The
I'm
magic.
fighting the urge
Magic.
to not. I could figure it out if I wanted to, but I refuse to because it's just so cool.
They call it Disney magic for a reason. You just
There you go, Alan. Exactly.
Exactly.
And right now, Vash is holding back because he could probably explain it all to you, but he's going to be generous
No,
and
I
not
probably
spoil the
could. That's
magic.
why I'm like not saying anything.
It's like with Mission Space. They're just like, how do they do that? I'm like, I know, but
Yeah.
I don't want the magic ruined. Like with Test Track, they're like, how does it go so fast? I'm like, should I break your illusion or not? No, I'm gonna enjoy the magic. Just
Yeah, how does it go 100 miles an hour? And
Exactly. right.
speaking of a ride that took forever to open,
Oh yeah, Test Track had its own share of.
I remember
of
visiting
problems.
Disney World twice and it not being open.
It was a mess. I think the joke was, hey, was Test Track open when you went?
And because of Test Track's problems, that's why we got rocket rods. Yay!
Yeah, right.
That's fantastic. Still nothing on that track, but yeah, that was a notorious era for Imagineering, and
I at least got to
Yeah.
ride it.
Same here, Alan. That was an interesting ride. I just wish they would have
What?
banked the turns a little bit so you went faster and longer. Because I feel like,
Absolutely.
right, every time you started getting some speed, they had to slow down. It was kind of
And then it would stop.
yeah.
I love this because not only do you see the wind,
You feel it.
but you feel it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it starts up gradually, and then by the time you go in this room, if you've ever seen that Mickey short, the band is the band concert,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
total callback to that.
right. And I believe this is also a callback towards an effect that they wanted to do in Great Movie Ride,
Mm-hmm.
and yet didn't actually do it with the
For the Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would have been so cool.
This is such a cute ride. I just can't get over it.
It is. I love riding through this. I'm singing the whole thing, the whole entire time. This darn song, but I love the effects.
I like
When
how
you-
bright the room is.
Isn't it
you don't have too many
great?
bright, dark rides.
Yeah.
I say Squid Game every time I see the squid there in the corner.
Yeah, definitely Squid Games.
And you go down the sewer pipe, and then of course there's Pete right there.
This
I
is
saw-
cool.
I saw a video that this was actually glitching in Disneyland for a little bit.
Yo.
For a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
Now this was my favorite room on either coast. This is my all-time favorite. It just gives you that feel that, like, regardless if you can kind of step out of your comfort zone, the ride does it for you.
Right.
So it'll make you dance. It'll make you do the conga.
Now,
Oh,
George,
yeah.
this is one of
Is
those
it the same
instances
dance
where
each time, or is it a different dance?
It's the same.
it's the same. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same kind of waltz than conga. But this is one of those instances where it really kind of moves you. From what
Oh,
I
it does.
understand.
It
Yeah.
really does. Yes.
Yeah, I was surprised how much I enjoyed that little scene.
Now, this is my issue with Disneyland's version, because by the time you get into this room,
Mhm.
this whole scene is practically already completed. So as soon as you enter in through the room, it's already in transformation mode, and then they exit you out.
Yeah,
It's
they
almost
move-
immediate.
Yeah, that scene did seem to go really fast.
Wow.
extremely quickly from factory to park.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one knock I'll have against this version.
Do you think it may be because of space considerations?
From what I understand, it was because
Yeah.
of making that transition from the building to the actual queue portion, and how that doesn't necessarily line up with its counterpart at Disney's Hollywood Studios.
So what did it replace at Toontown? Was it like Gadget Go Coaster and the
Nothing.
Nothing.
Did not replace anything.
Oh,
They actually just bulldozed down. They bulldozed some backstage. I think it was like a costume building or something, Dre,
Yeah.
right?
I believe it was like a
was
performance
like a
area
rehearsal hall.
and makeup.
Rehearsal.
But
Actually,
remember, OG, they can't do that. It's completely impossible.
I know. Whenever I hear people say, "Oh, you can't do that," there's not enough room at Disneyland. Hey, if Disney wants to do something, they're gonna find a way to do it.
Hey, theme park wizard. I love this scene at the end. I love the whole entire ride in general, but
so cute.
I love how cute this scene is. And then you're like the rising chorus, and then you stop, and there's like the bird there in the barn. Sometimes you see her goes away, sometimes you see the little chicks there at the same time.
And then right as you're about to pull up to exit out, you get that little electrifying zap. Yes.
What does this do? That great physical comedy.
Yes.
And you know what? Great that Disney made an original song for this attraction, because they used to do that back in the day with Haunted Mansion, Pirates. It was kind of cool to have like a song just for this attraction. I thought that was kind of neat, and it's catchy. It's really catchy.
Very catchy. Very catchy.
Now I kind of get Spider-Man vibes with this ride. Would you say that's a good comparison, or are they completely different?
There's definitely some comparisons to be made there. I would say there's with Spider-Man, there's obviously more there's more motion for sure, because you have a motion base that you're working with. Also too, there's a little bit more interplay between the physical and the digital kind of sets, let's say. But you're not super far off. I'll say that.
Oh, I like that, Lorena. That's cool.
Oh, thank you. Fat Steven, aka just a fat gamer, actually made that for me. Since
very cool.
Storm is like one of my favorite Disney Marvel characters.
Good taste too. I like it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I love that attraction. I get such such great original Disney vibes when I ride that attraction. It like puts a smile on my face. I tell people, there's a reason why even to this day Steamboat Willie is so freaking hilarious.
It is.
It's funny, it's great, Disney storytelling. It's just fun to watch. And like this particular attraction, it's just absolutely fun, to ride. It's like you're smiling from beginning, to the end. I know some folks have issues that it has screens. I'm like, yeah, it's got some screens in it, but the way that it's used, I really don't have a problem with it. I thought it was used pretty judiciously.
Well, yeah, and Lorraine, I agree with you. I think that screens aren't necessarily the problem. It's just one more like kind of tool in our toolbox we can use to kind of tell these stories. And in this case, it was executed very, very well, right? It's kind of like the whole like CGI hand-drawn thing, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes hand-drawn is appropriate, sometimes CGI is appropriate. Neither one of them is bad necessarily. It's just how you apply it, and the screen thing sometimes works in attractions and sometimes it doesn't, but it's all about that execution. And it also matters about like the subject material, right? What is more appropriate for the subject material?
Fast and the Furious. Just
oh,
come on. No.
Oh, you had to bring that up.
Terrible.
We just had that experience, huh, Vash? Like a week ago?
We did. Oh God, just so bad, man. Well, at Disney, I'm sorry, at Universal Studios Hollywood, if you embark on the studio tour, you have no choice. You have to end a studio tour with that. So there is no bypass. I wish there was like a, you could just pull this line if you want to bypass Fast and Furious. Oh, come on! But no,
we had to endure it.
At the studios here, Universal Orlando. It's like I see people walking in there, and I'm like, should we warn them?
Don't go in.
See, but here's the thing: when I went through Fast and Furious, I actually enjoyed the queue portion, going through it, like the interaction with the Universal team members, because some of them are very funny. Like they get into their roles. I do love that. But then when we get on that bus, it's bus. Like Oh my, no, it's like,
See, it won't be so bad, George, when you actually embark on it at Universal Studios Hollywood, because you will have seen, famous backlot sets, places that Disney themselves have filmed, and some of these the most famous movies of all time have been filmed, and so it's not going to be so bad as if you were going into a separate soundstage type experience, walking onto a new ride vehicle and embarking on that whole thing.
Where you voluntarily walked into this one thing.
Exactly,
Yes,
right?
yes.
That's a whole different thing. Oh boy, terrible.
The Universal Hollywood tram tour is my absolute favorite thing at that park. It is so fantastic, and they change it up.
It's awesome.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And sometimes
twice.
you'll actually see something being filmed.
Yeah,
Right.
no.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll see actual celebrities. I think there have been some viral images being posted about celebrities that they've been seeing on the side of the tram tour and stuff like that. It is phenomenal. It is absolutely awesome. And we are hearing that, hey, maybe Fast and Furious won't be with us for very much longer as they look to expand the Universal Studios Hollywood. From what we're
There's
hearing,
a new movie coming out. It has to,
there
until that
is.
movie comes out.
if they
true.
base the movie off of that attraction, I can guarantee you that's a straight to Netflix sort of
Yes, it
thing.
is.
Straight to Netflix.
That is
Let's put
true.
it this way: you can get a good nap on that attraction. I kid you not.
And in Florida, that might actually be a good thing.
Hey, they're from what I understand, they're spending $1 billion in Universal Studios Hollywood, and that land with that sits on is prime real estate. So you never know.
Wow.
We'll
Well,
see.
any last thoughts about the 100th, especially from you folks that are out there on the out the West Coast? How is that going, and what's your impressions of it so far?
Oh, I'm sorry, Dre. You go for it. I'm sorry.
No. Well, I was just gonna say, I think I know where you're gonna go. I'll go with the let's say the unpleasant trees, I guess. No, I actually really like. I kind of dig what the company is doing with Disney 100 and how they're celebrating at Disneyland. The kind of celebrating the company's biggest milestones, right, with those banners as you actually are walking up or riding the tram to the Esplanade. How they're actually showcasing the music from famous Disney theme park landmarks. Whether
We have Epcot music
right
at Disneyland. It's wild.
They're
It's
playing
wild.
that in the Esplanade. They're playing,
Oh.
classics. I'll have to bring up the list for you here
Like Illumination.
sometime. But they're playing classics from Disney theme park attractions and lands all over the world, and they're playing those in the Esplanade. I think that's great. The wrap on the monorail is fantastic. It's awesome. But then you have there's some stuff that just doesn't land quite as well, right? So with some of those banners that you actually see celebrating those milestones, well, initially they got a lot of those years wrong. They were celebrating the Matterhorn's opening in 1955 when it actually opened in 1959, Snow White's opening in 1939 when it actually opened in 1937, and so forth, right? So they got a lot of those things wrong. They have cleaned those up now, which is really great, but you only have one chance to make a first impression. Some of the decor, unfortunately, doesn't quite work. They have these kind of silver medallions or coin type decorations dotted throughout the Disneyland Resort, and unfortunately, they just don't have the distinctive contrast in order to make out what those things are. So when you actually see them in sunlight, they all kind of go gray or whatever. The Disneyland, the Sleeping Beauty Castle decor, not that great, unfortunately. But, however, that all kind of comes around when one, you add in Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I think that was a wonderful addition as part of the Disney 100. And Wondrous Journeys, who, OG, take it away.
No, Wondrous Journeys is the ultimate love letter to Disney animation. I mean, from beginning to end, it's so well choreographed. And it's not like a typical clip show where it's like, okay, let's watch 5 minutes of The Little Mermaid. Now let's watch 5 minutes of Tangled. They interweave the music and the imagery all together of every animated film they've ever done. And it's woven in beautifully. And amongst all the imagery, the projections are just full of like butterflies, and they're all over the castle and on the buildings, intermixed with the animation. And it is seriously my favorite fireworks show Disneyland has ever done. And they've had some bangers, and this is way on that high on that list. I think Dre and George are kind of, and Casual too, I believe. I think you guys are kind of on the same page with me with that. Fantastic show. Fantastic. Love it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I will even take it a step further. I think it's one of the best fireworks shows that Disney has produced in general.
Wow.
And all,
That says a lot.
So, yeah, I think like if you actually get to experience Wondrous in person, I mean, videos are great on YouTube, but I mean, to see it in person, it just brings you to a whole nother level as to who we are, why we all come together as a community of Disney fans, and the core of how it all started with the animation. And especially, I think these fellas can agree with me, the start of Wondrous, where it just has that hand-drawn line interweaving to create Mickey Mouse, and then it segues into Snow White, and it was like, the soundtrack to this, just Disney, I don't think actually could outdo for this show than what they already accomplished.
If you want me to, Lorraine, I have some footage of Wondrous Journeys. If you want me to play that, but what you're looking at on screen right now is the track listing for the Esplanade music playing right now. You can see that it covers the gambit in terms of Disney theme park presence, right? And if you can see right here, let's see if I can start playing this right here. It is a phenomenal.
Oh, wow.
And these projections not only cover Sleeping Beauty Castle, as you can see, but they cover the loop of Main Street and so forth. And literally, no matter where you stand, you're going to be seeing something probably very, very different. And this references every single Disney animated feature film since the very first one in 1937. So every single film is depicted here. There's some great overlaying and some harmonies.
I like how they did that.
And Dre, do you have the very beginning? Do you have the very beginning?
Yeah.
For where it shows like Mickey?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. So, let me see here.
And some things start out.
Theme park casual. Have you had a chance to see this?
Yes, I've actually seen it twice, and the beginning is my favorite part. And like George was saying, the song itself is spectacular, and I love that you get kind of two versions. You get one that's done with the guitar, and it's just a single voice for the most part, and then you get the chorus at the end, which comes in big and grand, and it's beautiful in both versions.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, the lead song "Wondrous" is performed very, very well. There's, I believe, like you said, 2 arrangements of the song, very folksy at first, and then it kind of gets grand at the end.
Here come the waterworks.
But you can see it goes from hand-drawn animation, and you're hearing the voices of these characters in the background, and then they turn brilliantly into color. And I'm going to be honest, the first 6 minutes of this show is perfect. It is a perfect fireworks show, in my honest opinion. Now, the latter 6 minutes, it's about 13-minute show, showcases some more of the newer animated films. Maybe it might not be everybody's cup of tea. So I think they're not trying to vary, but still a very, very pleasant, very, very good show, and a very strong kind of it's up there. And from what we understand, the projections were actually done by a third party this time. By Disney House. And as OG put it to me when he was seeing this for the first time, it's like, it kind of shows, but like in a good way. Like it's just done with an exceptional level of skill and kind of understanding of the medium. Whereas previous incarnations, like Enchantment, let's say they were a little bit light, right? And for Disney projection shows, I mean, we had our first one in the form of Disneyland Forever back in 2015 for the 60th anniversary. Well, there's now 8 years in which this medium has evolved and developed and so forth. And I think they really leveraged the new power provided by new projection technology.
It looks absolutely gorgeous.
It does, and if you play long enough, you'll see the first, let's say, character in the sky that's actually featured. There are a couple there, and I can't underplay it enough. All this stuff it plays so well. To hear Aurora's voice being actually featured.
I love that. That was one of my favorite Disney movies to watch. Which had the most gangster villain in it ever.
Yes. And you can see the blue fairy depicted right now.
Oh wow! Okay, I didn't know.
Yes, and they're going with the classic, worship the star kind of intro that we've seen.
We always get the Mickey shape, the Mickey explosions when they do the fireworks. I haven't seen that in Florida. I don't know why they don't do that there.
Yeah, I can't really recall seeing it at Walt Disney World, but Disneyland I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean I'm not quite sure. I know they have a range of fireworks launch points that we don't actually have on the West Coast. Is that correct? Yeah, they have 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Fireworks. Let's take the magic. There are others that are, I call them satellites, kind of around the back of the Magic Kingdom, where they also launch fireworks from there as well.
Okay.
Yeah, they have the capability to do fireworks in the round. I'd love to be there when they're doing that.
And if you guys ever saw Animazement back in the day, when it played in the Fantasyland Theater back during the 90s, I believe, late 90s of Disneyland's entertainment foray, you'll remember this kind of harmonization between multiple characters and how they would sing their songs, and they would kind of mix and match between them. They do a very similar thing here and done it very, very well. I believe it's between Belle's song, Moana's song, Hercules, and a little bit of Hunchback in there as well. I mean, just really, really phenomenal. This part always kind of gets me emotionally every single time I see it.
Oh, that looks so gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a beautiful show. It really is.
Yeah.
I can't wait till it gets to the dinosaur section and the Homeward Bound or whatever.
Home on the Range.
Home on the Range.
Yeah. And,
well, they did add a little touch of Home on the Range. You could see.
You do see that.
There's
You
a
can see
projection that
Yes.
pops up. That's about as much as you get there.
Yeah. I was actually pleasantly surprised at how much love Rescuers Down Under gets in this show. I was shocked.
Yes.
It gets a lot of love in this show.
Rescuers Down Under gets some. Treasure Planet gets a spot, a big segment there as well.
Yeah.
So keep
so the
track of
question
that.
then was the Song of the South appeared.
No.
Is Showcase in the chat? Showcase. Can we get a confirmation here?
I got my answer then.
Wow. Well, this is absolutely beautiful.
Oh yes,
Absolutely beautiful.
absolutely.
Man, I got to get back to like the West Coast pretty soon.
Yes.
I haven't been to Disneyland in a long time, and I miss it. So, wow. Well, as usual, it is a jam-packed show, and I want to thank all of you for popping on. Definitely excited at Theme Park Casual. Got to pop on the panel here at the last minute. So what I'd like to do, well, number one, first of all, thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe to all these amazing people here on the panel. Like to go around, have folks shout out their channels where they can find you, and we will actually start with Alan and go on around. So Alan, tell folks where they can find you.
Yeah, I'm on the Film Threat channel. So we're live streaming tomorrow afternoon. I think we're talking about Hogwarts for some reason. Not a movie, it's a video game, but I think that's what we got going tomorrow. Film Threat.
Cool. All right. And George, Disney George, tell the folks where they can find you, please.
Absolutely. You can find me on my YouTube channel, Disney Family Man 23. You can interact with me on Twitter at Disney George. You could also check out a new podcast that I'm part of called A Walk with Walt. And of course, you can find me on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
That's great.
I love that pitch. Love it. Love it. Love it. OG, please tell the folks where they can find you, my dear.
You could find me on Orange Grove 55 on YouTube, where we talk a lot about the parks. We do focus a lot on Anaheim, but George's show, Citrus Corner, does all our Walt Disney World stuff. We also dive into the corporate end, like tomorrow, we're doing a big show on Disney's quarterly earnings.
Correct.
It's gonna be a banger. So we talk all kinds of stuff, nerd culture. It's a really great time with this guy here, George, and right here, my producer, Vash Sky. So check us out on YouTube, Orange Grove 55.
All right. Dre, let them know where folks can find you.
Best place to find me is going to be on YouTube. It's right. I'm sorry. Well, YouTube for sure. If you want to see me in visual form on Orange Grove 55, as you just heard, my co-host, my I don't know. my dude, my pal, my bro, right? You just heard him say, you can find me there where we have great shows, as you just heard, with Citrus Corner, Orange Nerd, and my own as well, Freshly Squeezed, your source for juice, news, and info, squeezed fresh right from the Grove. And you can also find me on Twitter right there at Vash Sky. You can go ahead and type that in, as Christine Wastelands McCarthy will always say, for all the
robust
discussion right there. Yeah, that's where you can actually find me.
I might have to add that to my roster when we talk about OG. My dude, my pal, my bro, my I don't know.
That's great.
Perfect.
That's great. Love it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. And Theme Park Casual, please let the folks know where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at Theme Park Casual, where we have theme park thoughts, news, and discussion for the casual visitor from a former theme park commando.
Thank you very much.
A little Brie Larson in there. Come on.
Oh,
One of my favorite drops that you have, Dre. I love
it. Love it. Well, folks, of course, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. And you can find me on YouTube, various live streams, videos about, oh gosh, all kinds of like pop culture, sci-fi, theme park, anime, just fun stuff that I like to watch and have fun doing. And of course, usually every Saturday, you can find me in the theme parks live streaming, looking at all the stuff I like, don't like, disrespectful snacks that I wish would leave me alone. Anytime I see Daisy Duck, I lose my freaking mind. It just happens. It just happens. So folks, thanks again so much for all of you for being here, for watching the show. Please do hit that like button, subscribe to all the people on this panel, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.